Welcome to this Social Studies TEKS review and revision process informational video. The purpose of this presentation is to outline how to participate in the online feedback opportunity for the TEKS scope. Region 4 is providing this service as a part of the TEKS streamlining process being conducted by the Texas Education Agency. After viewing this video, if you have questions for the Region 4 Social Studies staff, please contact us at the email address you see here, socialstudies@esc4.net. For more information about the entire TEKS streamlining process, visit the website here. If you would like to serve on a work group during the TEKS streamlining process, use this link to submit an application. The deadline for submitting this survey for the TEKS scope is November 30th, 2017. The purpose of the feedback for this part of the TEKS review and revision process is to determine how much time is used to teach each student expectation in the Social Studies curriculum. Each individual student expectation in each of the grade level and courses listed here will be reviewed by teachers who teach the content. Those results will be collected by the regional service centers and delivered to TEA, who will use these data along with other data to determine what changes will be made to the TEKS. Before beginning the survey where you will record your feedback, it is important that you review your course. You will need to look at each standard and determine the amount of time you spend on instruction for each student expectation. You can do this work alone or with colleagues, although your responses do not have to be the same as theirs. When you fill out the survey, you will do it individually rather than as a group. Calculate the number of days you spend on each standard. You may find it easier to work through this process by units that you teach, rather than starting at the beginning of the TEKS for your course and doing them one at a time. Student expectations are not taught in isolation, so you may teach one part of a standard in one unit and another part in a different unit. Some of the standards overlap, so make your best guess when calculating the time spent teaching an individual student expectation. For example, Grade 8 1A states, identify the major eras and events in U.S. history through 1877, then lists a number of historical eras. This content occurs in many parts of the course. Calculate how much time is spent each time a major event is identified and combine the amount of time for that standard. Record the time in units of days, where 1 day equals 45 minutes. So 1 day will represent a 45-minute class period. Use numbers only, no words or text. You may use decimal fractions such as 0.25, but do not use fractions such as 1/4. Do not calculate the time you spend teaching the standards in the Social Studies skills strand, also called the process standards. These standards are used to teach the content standards, so they will not be calculated separately. This example illustrates one way to record time spent teaching the standards as you process your course by units. The course is Grade 8, the unit is American History, and these standards are some of the ones that are taught in the unit. The teacher has calculated the time spent on each of these 4 standards and recorded that time in terms of 45-minute class periods. Notice the teacher used numbers only, no words or text, and decimal fractions to indicate parts of a class period. The teacher would repeat this process with all the units in the course. Then the teacher would combine time from all the units for standards that are taught in more than one unit. The final result might look something like this. The numbers here are for illustration only. Once you have calculated the number of days to teach each standard, You are ready to enter that information into the online survey. When you access the survey, it will look like this. You will enter a number for each of the standards listed for your course. In this example, the number of days reported for Grade 8 1A student expectation is 19.5 days. Remember that the student expectations for the Social Studies skills strand, also known as process standards, will not be listed. When you have finished entering a number for each standard, select the Submit button at the bottom of the page. Use this link to access a PDF document which contains links to the surveys for each of the courses which are part of this review. The deadline for submitting your survey is November 30th, 2017. Thank you for viewing this information and participating in the Social Studies TEKS review and revision process. Please let us know if you have any questions by emailing us at socialstudies@esc4.net.